Hello, Virgo. Welcome to your reading for the end of March. The first card you get is the Peace card, which is the Two of Swords. This was in the past. Peace. Okay? Peace. For love, it says appearance does not help. It is better to interpret feelings and dreams to digest experiences. The more clearly you know how to distinguish between fantasy and reality, the easier you will find peace. New joy and a new lightness in your partnerships will be the reward. So there was some sort of fantasy going on, okay? Some sort of fantasy going on in the past that involved a Queen of Swords and a Tower moment. We also have the Futility card. So somebody left a certain situation. Queen of Swords, the Tower, Futility. Somebody had a Tower moment and they left in the past, okay? It's almost like if you had a fantasy, they destroyed it. Or if they had a fantasy, you destroyed it. You know, some sort of fantasy came to an ending with this energy. And that was in the past. That could be the middle of March. But at the end of March, we have the Abundance card, you talking to your friends and going out and having fun. You're also slowly coming to realize that the only person you can control is yourself, okay? You're becoming successful in yourself. You're healing through your friends and through yourself, through spending time with yourself. That's at the end of March. In April, we have the Defeat card. Somebody could be criticizing you in April. Somebody's criticizing you. We have the Queen of Cups, which could be Scorpio. You could have been dealing with a Scorpio. You could have a Scorpio criticizing you in April. But the Scorpio at the moment feels stuck with this Hanged Man energy. That's why they're criticizing you. They feel like they're stuck because of you. They blame certain things on you. No, they're talking to somebody about you. They're talking to a Prince of Discs about you in April. They're complaining to somebody about you in April, okay? But the person they're complaining to you about is somebody who's really calm. You know, they could be talking to a therapist. They could be getting therapy. But your attitude about everything is the Prince of Cups, okay? Prince of Cups. And what does the Prince of Cups have to say? What does the Prince of Cups have to say? I passed it. So you're a loving, dignified personality whose great strength comes from the depths. Your inner life and your feelings are very decisive for you. Unless you acknowledge this, you can greatly hurt yourself. However, once you pursue the impulses from your unconscious and then live according to them, you have the upper hand in an experienced, pleasurable life. So the advice is, to not ignore your emotions or your impulses. You know, it's talking about how you need to love on yourself more. You could be loving on yourself at this time. And it's talking about how you need to acknowledge your feelings. Your attitude involves you needing to acknowledge your feelings, okay, about a certain situation. But you're having trouble acknowledging your feelings at this time, possibly because you're worried about something. There's a lot of negative thoughts and worry coming in, and maybe even some codependency issues as well, okay? Different people are codependent on people for different things. So I don't know if this person was codependent on you for emotional stability and you were codependent on them for money, or if it was vice versa, but you were dealing with a codependent relationship And you're learning how to love yourself. Your attitude is you're learning how to love yourself, but you're kind of struggling with it at this time because of the negative thoughts, the worry, and the codependency. So the first thing you need to do is get rid of these negative thoughts and flip them around so that you can eliminate a lot of your worry and not feel so codependent. Because if you weren't worried about anything, you wouldn't be codependent on somebody, or you wouldn't feel codependent on them. Because if you know you got you know, there's no reason to feel codependent on somebody. There's no reason to fear, you know. My best advice for your attitude, if that is your attitude, would be to stop worrying all the time that something bad's going to happen. You know, I know that that's the energy of our world. Our world preys on that energy all the time, especially the news. The news will be like, oh, this is happening, that is happening. What's the next bad thing to, and it gets views, right? It gets views, but it's not really good for a peaceful life. Um, so it's almost like you're projecting an outer attitude of you love yourself, but deep down inside you have all these negative thoughts and worries, and you need to get rid of those. Influencing you is the Three of Swords card. You know, some people think that's a sorrow card, and it even says on there sorrow, but that in this book, that's not what it means. It's talking about being more sincere, being more honest. So influencing the situation is maybe somebody wants you to be more open, or you want somebody else to be more open and more honest, right? And because if this person was more honest with you, then slowly over time, you feel like you could be happy again. We get the art card, which is temperance, the happiness card, and the satiety card. You know, it's like maybe somebody wasn't honest in a certain situation. You could have been married to this person and they were not honest. And this was something that happened slowly over time. Maybe they started out as being honest, with that temperance card, but they changed over time and they changed into somebody different. And this affected your happiness with the happiness and the satiety card, which satiety is normally 10 of cups, which is why I'm like, maybe y'all were married. But this relationship in general just needs more honesty, is what I'm getting. The obstacles to the end of March are the Hermit. Okay. So with that Hermit energy, somebody is spending a lot of time alone. Okay. That's the obstacle. Maybe somebody doesn't like being alone. So the quote for this card is, if I hang on to another person because I cannot stand on my own feet, it can perhaps be a lifesaver, but our relationship is not love. Paradoxically, the ability to be alone is the precondition for the ability to love. So in order to be able to love somebody, you have to be okay with being alone. And a lot of people on YouTube will say that. They'll say that in a lot of self-help videos, but even a tarot card will tell you that. You have to be happy being alone to be able to be with somebody. Because if you're not happy alone, how are you going to be happy with somebody else? Like I'll use me as an example. Like I have gastritis. So some parts of the day I'm happy and some parts of the day I'm not, depending on what I'm doing. And so I know that I'm never fully completely happy. So I know that if I were to get with somebody, they would never make me fully completely happy. So I can't expect a fully, completely happy relationship when I know that I'm not happy all the time. So, I mean, we have to be okay with being alone sometimes because if we're not, then we don't really know how to love somebody. And I really don't know how to explain that concept. I mean, I'm sure there's deeper things that get into it, but that's a topic for another day. With this alone energy, both of you could be alone because we have this truce card. It's almost like this is at a standstill with the truce card, and we have the Ace of Swords and the Adjustment card. Okay. Now, Ace of Swords, I think I read somewhere about Ace of Swords. So somebody is not completely healed yet. Okay, that is the obstacle. Somebody is not completely healed yet. They're spending time alone, but they're not completely healed yet. Okay, they're not completely healed yet. And with the Adjustment card, let's look at how you can tell that this person is not completely healed. Okay, the reason you can tell that this person is not completely healed is that they are hiding behind their feelings. Says do not hide your feelings behind rational grounds. So not hiding behind their feelings, but they're hiding behind logic. Okay, that's what they're doing. So somebody is not representing their convictions courteously and consistently. And so if somebody was satisfied with the way they were enforcing boundaries and standing up for themselves, they could be happy, but they're not doing that. So they're not completely healed and they're not happy. So somebody is still hiding their feelings, okay? And that's how you know this person is not completely healed. They're still hiding their feelings. They refuse to admit their feelings. Now, with that Hermit card, that is, Virgo energy, but you could also be dealing with another Virgo. The outcome of everything at the end of March is the Princess of Wands. Princess of Wands. Princess of Wands. So, drive and the desire for growth introduce you to the task to go beyond yourself and remain faithful to your values, even if everything changes. Avoid superficial and unnecessary dramatizations. So basically, don't, if you don't feel good, don't go around pretending that you're good, just to make this person feel a certain way. Um, It says playful seriousness will be the best help to you. So it's okay to joke around, but in a playful way. I mean, it has to be in a playful way if you're joking around, right? What I'm trying to say is it's okay to have certain jokes as half truths. That's what's going to help you overcome whatever you went through is making jokes about certain things. Even jokes about things that people don't find funny is going to help you move on with whatever it is that happened. Kind of reminds me of comedians that get on stage and talk about their cheating wives or whoever ruined them, not ruined them, but upset them, ruined the relationship basically. Deliberately play with the fire. That is, try out your strengths, discover the possibilities, and bring your enthusiasm, your joy of life, and your driving force into play with wit and dignity. So, it's talking about having fun, learning more about yourself. And with learning more about yourself, we get the Prince of Swords. Okay. So you have a lot of great ideas for the future that you want to manifest. And it says you are the king of your choices. Here it is necessary to collect and hold in one hand many lines of thought. To take them in hand also means to understand them. Processing experiences until they are really clear means producing diamonds and finding your star. You have the task and the gift to communicate ideas and knowledge to others in an effective way and transfer them to others. The weakness could be manipulation. Sometimes you may have a tendency to manipulate people. But as far as love goes, it says, within you lie great visions and passions. So you have a lot of hopes for the future. Just a lot of hopes and dreams for the future. And with the Eight of Cups energy, it's talking about freeing yourself from half measures. It's almost like at the end of March, you are healing. If this is your energy, if you're the one healing, but it's halfway. And with the Eight of Cups energy, it's saying go all the way. Go all the way. Free yourself from healing halfway and heal all the way. And I think the Princess of Wands, put in that context, it's basically telling you to go ahead and do things you're afraid to do, if that's what you need to heal. If you've never went swimming before and you feel that swimming would help you with healing from a situation, you take somebody with you and go swimming. Do what you need to do to heal all the way. What you don't see coming is Ten of Wands, okay? You putting everything you've got into something. You're going to be putting everything you've got into something. Because you want to have a victory with somebody that could have been argumentative, Princess of Swords. You don't see you putting a bunch of work into something because you want to have a victory with a Princess of Swords. You want a family with somebody. And it's almost like you're beginning to realize that in order for you to have a family with somebody, you've got to be a whole healthy person. And you will be having a victory with this person. We have the Victory card and the Ten of Pentacles. I don't know if this person is going to go on a coffee date with you or what they're going to do, but eventually you're going to find a way to get them to drop their defenses, because Princess of Swords, she's got that sword raised, but you're going to have a victory and find a way to get them to drop their defenses so that you can have a family with this person. But the only way you can do that is by putting your all into it. You can't just heal halfway and be like, yeah, I'm healed. It doesn't work that way. You can't. I don't know how to explain it. It kind of reminds me of that show, and I'm not making fun of these people because I really do feel bad for them. There is a show called My 600-Pound Life, and you have a few of the patients who they will start to lose weight, and they're doing really great. And but there will come a time when they stop losing weight and they're eating whatever they want. They're off their diet, and the scale does not lie, right? If it is a working scale with working batteries or calibrated right, it does not lie. And they will tell Dr. Now on the show, they will say things like, well, I think I'm losing weight because my clothes fit so much better. My clothes are looser, and they're just picking things out of the air, basically. Almost. I don't really know how to word it, like just trying to skirt around true healing. So it's almost like somebody, who was really hurt coming to somebody later and being like, I'm smiling, so that means I'm healed. No, they're not, because just because somebody looks healed on the outside doesn't mean they're healed on the inside. And it's a very tough job to heal the inside. I mean, you hear about it in therapy all the time, where sometimes the therapist, and this is a stereotype, that therapists will say, this is a stereotype that therapists will say, well, we're just scratching the surface. And sometimes they will say that, but not all of them say that. But it kind of reminds me of that, like where you may have just recently scratched the surface of healing, but you're not fully there yet. And in order to get this person on your side, You have to show them that you're fully healed. You have to put everything into this. It can't be half-ass. It can't be half-ass. A lot of people, they see the 8 of Cups and they think, oh, somebody's going on a journey by themselves. Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean that they're going to heal. I mean, we all go on journeys. If somebody goes on a journey half-ass and then comes back, they're not completely healed. So I think the cards are basically saying just to keep working on yourself, but you don't see it coming. You don't see it coming that you're going to put a lot of effort into healing because there's somebody that you really like or somebody that really likes you that's going to put a lot of effort into healing. And it's because they want the relationship to work. Sometimes people are like, oh, look at them. They never talk to me anymore. They're all about themselves. They only care about them. No, it's not that they only care about themselves. They're putting a lot of work into themselves so that a relationship can work because they actually do care about the other person. And that's why they're working so hard on themselves because they want the relationship to work. But that's all I have. It's great to have friends and options and choices, but never go half-ass when it comes to healing. Because if you go half-ass, you're gonna end up hurt again. I mean, it's kind of like somebody who, you know, say if they have a broken leg and they're like, "Oh, it's been a few weeks. I'm partially healed. Let me go outside and skateboard again." And then they break their leg again. But because it was already broken, it gets broken even worse. So it's best to wait till you are fully healed before you go out there and get hurt even more. That's all I have, Virgo. And I hope things get better for you. I don't know what this person did. To me, it kind of looked like they lured you in with some sort of false sense of security, and then they completely changed on you. Um, but so it's really, if someone did that to you, it really is going to take a long time to heal because um it gets to a point where people are like, well, if I've known someone a certain amount of time and they're still, they still end up doing something messed up to me, well, who can I trust? How long do I have to wait? And those are a lot of questions that are addressed great in a therapy session, but they're not addressed great in a new relationship. It's not good to go to a new relationship and be like, well, what do you think about what my past person did to me? And I know this because I've done it. When we tell other people about what has happened to us, the wheels of those people's minds start turning. And some of them are not good people. They think about, well, what can I get away with then with this person? So until you're fully healed, with the help of a therapist or a trusted friend, it's not a good idea to go out there and try to half-ass it. Thank you.